Ah, well, getting towards the end of the week. Hello, folks. How's it going? Some more hobby nightmares in the offing, I think. I think we need to go over some of those things. And let's have a little look in here. And every day, every time I get a day off. Every time I get a day off, they're doing this to me. Every time. Every time I mildly decide, maybe today I'll just do nothing. Maybe today I'll record some hobby nightmares and just sit here and not write scripts. Every time they do this. Every time. Can't stand them. Cannot stand them. I'm going to have to sit here for 3 minutes until I can swear. Literally. I'm going to have to sit here for 3 minutes until I can swear. I don't know how other people do it. I don't know how they do it. Okay, 1 second. Compose myself. Right, so, I like local game stores, and I don't like that they're being absolutely abused right now. And it's really, really, really annoying me. Today, or yesterday, as the case may be, Games Workshop announced, or at least sent a sneaky memo out to most of their partners, most of their independent stockists, that they are raising the prices here at Games Workshop. They are raising the prices to make sure that they can cover their own costs, which, on the surface of things, may not be able to be seen as a terrible thing, but I'm actually need to explain this to you right now. This is a gargantuan leap in prices. This is not even a small leap. This is a gigantic leap. First of all, Discourse Miniatures did a great video on this, and I will link that in the description down below. There is some overlap here in my thoughts as well, but mostly I try to bring my own thoughts to the subject, okay? I'm trying to get through these 3 minutes. I'm stuttering a little bit because I'm trying not to swear, and every time I start going, I start trying to come out, and I'm trying not to do it. So, Games Workshop are realising at the moment that they can't keep charging outlandish prices for their models. That's what this is. That is exactly what this is. But instead of actually taking responsibility for that and lowering their own prices, they're simply passing that on to their lovely independent traders just down the road who are trying to build the hobby for everybody. That's what they're trying to do. Congratulations to Australia, by the way, Macca's lot over there, for tanking the hobby over in Australia by refusing to pay ridiculous prices for what is essentially some plastic toy soldiers. Vote with your wallet. If you don't like what Games Workshop are doing, then stop giving them money. If you're one of these whales who keeps giving them license to behave like this, I swear to God, when there is no hobby anymore, or when you're sitting there complaining because even you can't afford it anymore, that's when nobody will have any sympathy for you whatsoever. Stop giving these people your money. Stop buying into fear of missing out. Leave your models where they are. Go and look for alternatives on Etsy, on 3D printing, or even secondhand. But do not give these people your money when they're doing things like this. Do you know how much of an increase 5.8% actually is? That's ridiculous. That is ridiculous. That is crippling to a local store. A lot of you will be wondering, why is he so angry? You forget I've run a store. I've run 2 stores, right? I have 1 independent store and 1 Games Workshop. I'm telling you now, a 5.8% increase with no notice is a killer for most stores. Those are stores that will be going out of business within the next year. I swear to God, if you take Composite Games away from me, I am going to be one very, 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 very upset individual. You haven't seen me when I'm angry. Unfortunately, the tanking of the Australian market, Games Workshop have taken the wrong lessons from that information that they were given by the Australians, by people over there saying, we're not doing this anymore, go fuck yourself. They've taken the wrong lessons, and instead passed on their price increases to local game stores who independently stock their products. Remember when I spoke about how having such a local store next to my own Games Workshop eventually tanked my store? Remember when I said that? Remember when I said when I was running a Games Workshop store, right? I had a local trade stockist just down the road from me who was selling my products at 20 to 25% off my own prices. And Games Workshop expected me to still hit levels of growth month on month and month and month. And I refuse to do it. I can't do that. There is a business nearly next door that's almost selling my products with a quarter discount on top of it. Right? I wanted Games Workshop to solve that problem by lowering prices across the board and not being so fucking greedy and creating far more demand by doing so. Instead, they did the opposite. Trying to solve this problem by raising the prices in independent stores to mirror those in Games Workshop. There is an argument out there against equal pay in some sports or jobs between men and women, right? Now, don't worry, I'm not going to go into that subject. I'm staying away from the ethics of that, but the argument itself runs like this, and I think it's quite a poignant argument. Companies will not raise the wages of women to meet men's. They will lower the wages of men to meet women's. Right? That's what some people say when they say don't campaign for higher wages for yourself in this space, because corporations won't do that. They will lower our wages. So everybody's worse off. Right? Your husband's worse off, your brother's worse off, everybody's worse off. You won't get a wage, you'll get like a 2% wage rise, and we'll get a 50% wage cut, or whatever it is, right? That's what they're saying. This is exactly what Games Workshop have done, squeezing the local game store for every last drop of profit that they can. We are about to see a massive recession in the UK, and I'm going to explain that point in a minute, but keep it in your mind for a little while, that point that I made on the wages. We are about to see a massive recession in the UK. Games Workshop are likely seeing the collapse of their Australia market and are already nervous about what happens when one of their biggest markets in the UK goes belly up thanks to their shocking prices when we're in the middle of a fucking recession that's much bigger than the last one that we had. This is the equivalent of a leader on his way out the door and stuffing his pockets with cash on the way out. Games Workshop, please listen to me. Please listen to me. This is not the way. Lower your prices and stop citing problems with your operating costs as if you're the only ones working within a recession. You made enough money to ride out the storm of the coming downturn in the UK economy by lowering your prices. You will come out ahead in the long run. Other smaller companies than Games Workshop are simply eating the price of their operating costs. They are not raising them. Why are Games Workshop then? Why do we see smaller gaming companies out there eating the costs of their rising development costs? Why are they eating all the costs when Games Workshop are passing theirs on to us through independent stockists? They know they can push you no further. Honoured consumer who is listening to this video, Games Workshop know they can punish you no further. So now they pass their costs on to the independent game stores. They're saying, what? You wanted cheaper models? Well, let's make our models look cheaper by making sure that wherever else you can buy them, they're almost as expensive. It's literally the Flash Kits animation. You know, let's half the amount of models in the boxes and double the prices. That way, models are worth double and everybody wins, right? That's not what we were asking for. That is categorically not what we were asking for. When I told you that it frustrated me that there was a stockist down the end of the road who was selling my stuff at quarter price, I wanted you to lower your prices so I could match them, not increase their prices so nobody wins apart from you, you greedy, greedy fucktards. It's lose-lose for you, the consumer. It's lose-lose. Either pay your increased prices at the independent store, or pay full price at Games Workshop if you want brand new models. It's win-win for them. Games Workshop gets to have more revenue coming in, and they get to drive more people to their flagship stores. Now the difference in pricing is not so high. Let's be honest, Games Workshop pride themselves on having some of the best, salesmanship in the world, right? So a lot of people enjoy going there. As a lawful evil player of the game myself, I can only admire their absolute balls. This is a move that ticks so many boxes. It's genius. It really is. From an evil genius point of view, this is chef's kiss. This is absolutely up there. This is a chess move level. A master chess move level of stuff we're seeing here in Games Workshop. Games Workshop can and will weather the incoming rising costs of production and even a recession in the UK. Independent stores like Composite Games cannot. But Games Workshop do not care at all. And why should they? If independent stores go away, then the only place you have to go is Games Workshop. Can you imagine a world where it's like Apple? Where it's like, you know, whenever you buy an expensive car, and you can only go to that car manufacturer for the specific parts that you get for your machine. Can you imagine that? Can you imagine Games Workshop being the same? Where every single thing you get that has the name Games Workshop on it, the only place you can get it is at your local Games Workshop at full price. Can you imagine that world? Because that's the world Games Workshop wants. That is the world that Games Workshop wants. Instead of embracing 3D printing, as it makes its way into the market and starts to catch up with Games Workshop's quality, Games Workshop instead are doubling down on their toxic price gouging practices and are trying to shoehorn you into a pen so that they are the only game in town. Please buy other games from your local independent store. Buy paints from them, anything that you can to keep them going. If you need Games Workshop products in 2023, I hope you've saved a few £100 and done some research into 3D printing. We are starting to see the turn now, folks. I cannot believe that Games Workshop are taking the first step down this very, very, very dark road. The advent of 3D printing and the matching the quality of Games Workshop was their chance to start clawing back and saying, okay, here we go, here's 3D printing. Let's get ahead of the game. Let's start making most of our products being online. Let's start making most of our products being a subscription service. Let's make most of our products being free PDFs. All of our rules being free PDFs that we just update every now and again. Let's make it like that. Let's make sure that the consumer knows that we're on their side. Let's make sure that we're giving away our own ST files that people can download on their own printers at home for a price. Let's do shit like that. Let's get ahead of the game. But of course not. I'm asking far too much. I'm asking for Games Workshop to think like a normal human being, and that's not what they're doing. What they're doing is, more money, please. More money, please. As a recession, don't give a shit. Give me more money, whale. Give me more money. Well, you got more money in there. Give us that. Give us that. Give us that. You don't need your rent. You don't need your rent. Who are your kids anyway? You don't even like your kids. Give me your money. Got your money. Right? That's what they're doing. They don't give a shit about you, about me, or about this hobby. I'm more upset by this than I was about the price increases coming to the customer. Because at least the price increases to the customer are up front and they're in your face. And you can make the choice to go to an independent stockist and buy from them instead. Or go to eBay or something like that and buy from there instead. What they're doing now, they're fucking with people's livelihoods. And I don't stand for it. I don't stand for it. Okay? Now, I've changed my stance on 3D printing. Go ahead. You have carte blanche, my friend. Go ahead. Go ahead. Because Games Workshop don't deserve you anymore. They don't deserve you anymore. That's it. That is it. That was a straw that broke the camel's back. They don't deserve you. That's it. They're gone. They're gone. If this is the way they go, if this is the avenue, if they've taken all of that data from Australia, where their own market collapsed over a year, which is astonishing when you think about it. If they take that market data and they think, do you know what? To cover these costs, what we're going to do is we're going to eat the costs. No, of course not going to eat the costs. Smaller companies do that. No. We're going to pass the cost on to the customer. But Dave, they're always Dave, aren't they? Sorry, Dave. But Dave, we can't do that. We can't put the prices up again. The customers will revolt. Ha 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 ha. Who said anything about the customers? Get those little plebs from those local game stores on the phone. I got some news for them. Yeah, we're going to make them up their prices. Because you know what? Do you know what's even more despicable? A lot of those places, I'm not going to say Composite Games are going to do that, but a lot of those places are going to eat the costs. I know they will. A lot of those Diamond League local game stores will eat these costs on behalf of Games Workshop. They will buy their stock from Games Workshop at a 5.8% increase, and then they won't pass that burden on to the customer. They'll eat it. They'll keep it themselves. I know managers who have already told me they're going to do this. Right? That is beyond immoral. That's beyond immoral. We're beyond the pale here, folks. We are seeing behind the curtain. I want to be an advocate for Games Workshop. I want to sit here and tell you that you should buy from them and that you should support them and that they are worthy custodians of the hobby, but they keep letting me down. They keep doing it. And I don't know what to say anymore. Because this is screwing with people's livelihoods. This is literally taking food out of people's mouths. This is literally what that is. Don't tell me I'm being overdramatic. This is a 5.8 increase in trade prices. So, if Steve is taking home, you know, let's say £600 from his store in profit a month, which is really low, he's now taking about 400 odd. If he doesn't pass the cost on to you, he's taking home about 400. Right? Now, of course, that's just an out there example, right? An out there example. I'm trying to get over to you how much of a hit this is to the local stores. This is absolutely beyond the pale. This is D-Day. This is D-Day for all of the independent stockists out there. I hoped this would never happen. I hoped we would never see it. I hoped it would never... Games Workshop would turn it around and embrace 3D printing and start moving in that direction in 10th edition and saying, hey guys, look, we know this is where the industry is going. It's so obvious that's where the industry is going. It's so obvious that if we carry on this way, we're going to drive ourselves off of a cliff. So, we're going to start embracing 3D printing. We're going to start, you know, bringing out codexes as PDFs. We're going to have really cool subscription services where you get a free model a month or a free token for a model a month, and you get all your codexes for free. You still need to pay for your rules and shit like that, but apart from that, all free. And you know what? We'll bring down our prices for our models, because now you can get them much cheaper from a bloody 3D printing machine that's in your front room. So, we're going to bring down our prices a little bit, just as a nice, you know, here you go, you know, we're now in a recession, and then eventually, we're going to start selling our own 3D printing supplies, and we're going to corner the market there too, because we're Games Workshop, and we're fucking geniuses. But what have they done? They've doubled down on the same shit they've always done. Charge you more. Smooth brain move. Charge you more. That's it. Give me all that money. That's what they've done. This isn't going to kill Games Workshop, because there will always be fucking morons who buy into this, who ignore what people like me say, and they put money in their wallets anyway. The Games Workshop will never go away. But the hobby, for those of us who simply can't put up with this anymore, might go away. We might have to find something else to do. And eventually, Warhammer will go away. Eventually, it will ebb away. It may take 20 years, may take 10 years, but eventually it will go away. Through shit like this. This is the first step in a very, very bad direction. And I've never done an unscripted rant like this before. Not for a year or so. Right? I script my videos now. I had a script, and I wrote bullet points, and I got through them, and for the past 15 minutes I've just been going ham. So I apologise for that. I really hope that you enjoyed the video and you enjoyed me being angry. It's a long time since I've gotten this angry with them. Games Workshop, get in the fucking sea. Get in the sea. And I'm not throwing you a life raft until you look after these people who are bringing you profits and are bringing you more people coming into the hobby. Because God knows you're doing a shit job at it. Because you got rid of Brother Alpha Boost and all that stuff. Go fuck yourself. Get in the sea. Right. I'll see you later. I'm going to go boil my head. Love you.